In Kiev, Ukraine lives associate degree MMA fighter named Yuri Boyka. He's the simplest fighter in Europe and has gained the title of undisputed one-evening boycott. Is fighting in an ill-gotten match control in an underground arena because the crowd cheers. He doesn't let the opponent get one hit on him when the quick one-sided fight. He kicks the opponent in middle air and knocks him out. The scene changes to a most security jail in Russia. The inmates participating fights for the guards and therefore the warden amusement. Such matches are ostensibly friendly to the surface world. However, can get terribly violent with the proper participants. The deadliest unfortunate person of all time could be a beast of a person named Kashmir. He's therefore aggressive that the guards have to be compelled to chain his limbs and shut his mouth to make sure he won't hurt anyone outside the ring. Kashmir's opponent is FR1 his size and might hardly land a punch on him. He slams the person to the ground, breaking his neck before continuing to punch him in the. The fight solely stops once his face is ill-shapen and lined in blood. Kashmir is understood for killing each opponent he fights against, showing them no mercy. He's additional of a monster than some bodies and has no guilt for killing numerous people. In contrast to him, Boycott could be a sensible man outside of the ring. He hasn't had an excellent life as he was captive for many years and is a wished criminal in Russia. However, he has been ready to place his past aside and is making an attempt to be a far better person. He even helps the church in Kiev and is often doing charity work. One day, a priest tells him that he ought to take into account selecting another profession. The priest has forever supported Boycott, his passion. Therefore the comment comes off as a shock to the fighter. Boycott replies that his talent could be a gift from God and he's not willing to prevent victimization it. He needs to fight as knowledgeable and not in an ill-gotten atmosphere. To any extent further within the afternoon, Boyka is charged by his manager, who reveals that he will finally vie wrongfully and illegitimate. The fighting tournament happening in capital of Hungary has allowed him to require half of the competition if he wins a qualifying match. Then comes the day of the qualification match, since it's one often among Gani in L and among stone in each of the foremost necessary fights of Boycott life. He's able to provide it all. His opponent could be a Russian man named Victor. The match begins associate degree. Boycott lands the primary result of kick. Within the first couple of minutes he shows his defensive skills, deflecting every single attack created on him. As Victor gets additional pissed off, it is easier for Boycott to form an attack. The judges on the sidelines are already impressed. Therefore once he knocks Victor out with a necessity to his jaw, it confirms his qualification. Everybody thinks the match is over. However, Victor survived by obtaining up seconds later. He is knocked down a second time, but he refuses to just accept defeat. By currently Boycott is frustrated, therefore he lands a third punch on Victor's face. Not sentenced to a win, the organizers invite Boycott to fight within the league, which is able to open several doors of. The manager offers Boycott a bundle of money, asking him to coach owners as a result of ensuing match is in time period. Whereas departure, Boycott sees that Victor is in vital condition. He feels guilty for pain and that unhealthy and would haven't done it if he had given up on the primary knockout. Boycott remembers the priest recommendation. Associate degree prays for Victor quick recovery. At night, he wakes up to a nightmare of him killing an opponent within the ring. Terribly next morning he goes to the manager and inquires regarding Victor. To his shock, he's told that Victor died last night in the hospital, that they had signed a per-match contract, that the blame falls on nobody. However, in his heart Boycott is aware that he is the reason behind the death. Obviously, upon being asked about Victor's family, the manager gives him a bag that belongs to him. Within it Boycott finds a letter from Victor, adult female, and their image along. In reading the letter he will feel that his wife should have gone through. Right then, Boycott decides to apologize to her and ensure she isn't facing any issues in life. He is aware that his crime won't be forgiven even then. However, he doesn't wish to run far from the trail of redemption. Boycott tells the manager regarding his want to travel to Russia to fulfill Victor's wife. But the guy is extraordinarily against the thought. Is still a criminal in Russia and can be captive if found by the authorities. He'll have to be compelled to create a pretend passport. That could be an immense risk currently, that he's therefore on the brink of being a legitimate MMA fighter. Boycott understands the consequences, however is adamant regarding his call. Within the following scene we tend to are introduced to Victor, adult female Alma, who was at his ceremonial occasion when his death. She is alone in life and has nobody to show to on primer that she and Victor are indebted to against the law boss named Installation Rab. He involves the ceremonial occasion and suggests Alma be his mistress to pay off her debt. Alma is fed up by his presence, however she is automotive-ful. She merely replies that she is going to rather work flat out in payment installments. Alma owns and lives in a very center. She and Victor engineered it with the money they borrowed from Zred. The place is home to several orphans and folks who are in want and bound in Russia. Boycott goes to fulfill her, but notices her being withdrawn in a black car by a bunch of men. It seems that she works as a server in his red underground fighting club. He's terribly protecting of her and treats her like his property. Later that day, Boycott goes to the fight club and finds Alma. Once he tries reprehension, her Zarepni folks stop him and escort him outside. Boycott needs to avoid fighting. Therefore he, in a well-mannered way, asks them what time she is going to get off work. The gangsters attack him at the question. However, are successively educated a lesson for messing with. Knowledgeable fighter, Zoe Rapp sees Boyka fight and is affected by his skills. He has been needing a decent martial artist in his club and desires to rent Boycott. However, the person argues that he's not here to participate in fights. He simply offers to speak to him on his behalf, refusing to let him meet her. However, Boycott once more disagrees with him and walks away. When he is out of sight, Joe asks his folks to stay and watch on him. A subsequent day, Boycott manages to sneak into the center and meet Alma. He offers her Victor's letter and asks her if she is being forced to figure at the fight club. Alma replies that she would really like to figure somewhere else, however is certain by the debt. She then reads the letter. Associate agreed, asks him if he saw her husband last fight. Boycott comes clean, admitting that he was the last person Victor fought. He tries explaining that the death was an accident, but Alma refuses to pay attention to her husband's killer. Following the interaction, Boycott goes to alphabetic character Rab and agrees to fight for him. However, successively he had to be compelled to forget all of Alexander. The deal is that Boyka needs to win 3 matches against the opponent of Rab's selection to keep him safe from the police and authorities, since he is aware of he got into Russia employing a pretend passport. Ensuing day, Alma meets Boycott to inform him she doesn't want his pity. She needs him to come home. However, Boycott insists he's doing this for his own satisfaction. Then he goes to a neighborhood gymnasium to coach for the matches, but is browbeaten by a person. Once the guy keeps on poking him, Boyka slams him down with one cat. Then comes the day of the primary fight. Boycott goes against a local fighter in an easy match. The rival manages to land a couple of weak kicks, however is established to be weak ahead of her for immunity of somebody nearly as good as Boycott. He manages to knock him down and is on the brink of throw the last punch, but stops midway. To his relief, the opponent accepts defeat, so he doesn't have to be compelled to hurt him more. When the fight virtually serves some drinks, Boycott asks her if she is at home with the pleasant native gymnasium. As a result of the one he's reaching to without delay doesn't live up to his standards. Alma worries it for a moment before inviting him to use the gymnasium in her community. He trains there for ensuing few days and ultimately Boycott next match could be a 2 versus 1 against the Chicago brothers. He's appalled as a result of it was never told regarding these rules. Zoe boasts that it's his arena and therefore the fighters had to be compelled to play by the principles. The match begins and Boycott struggles to defend against each brothers at an equivalent time. Once he tries to fight one, the opposite attacks, creating it onerous for him to focus. Still, he manages to push one away and knock the other one down within the seconds they fancy recover. It's associate degree equal match till Boycott is kicked in his already livid lower back. The pain is intolerable until he sees Alma in the audience and continues fighting. Then he kicks each their asses and scores a double knockout. The group erupts into cheers as nobody had thought he would win this match. Also ensuing days, Roy goes to fulfill Alma and tries to entertain her. Once she deflects his advances, he accuses her of sleeping with Boycott. He also riles her up, claiming that her husband's act wasn't accidental, which Boy meant to kill. Alma pretends to not believe him, however the comment bothers her. Meanwhile, Boycott manager from Ukraine calls him back directly. As a result of he contains a press meeting for the fight in Budapest. Boyka asks him to hold over it, since he solely has one last fight to win. Upon reaching his area he finds Alma looking forward to him. She urges him to inform the reality regarding her husband's death, and Boycott starts telling her about all the hardships he has faced in life. He reveals that the primary FR1 of his life was crammed with misery and therefore the match against Victor was his solely likelihood at obtaining a far better life. He gave it all and won, however Victor's death took away an even bigger part of him. He is aware of that accepting his assistance is terribly troublesome for Alma, but he begs her to let him do what he needs to. In the dead of night for the ultimate match, Boycott goes against Ikazu. Rob, best fighter, who has been mocking Boycott since the day he arrived here, is particularly furious at Boycott as a result of he's a threat to his position, and he takes all his frustration out and he manages to place up a troublesome fight, creating Boycott's lower back his main target. However, the direction of the fight changes once Boycott could be a double middle air kick on him. Following that he beats Iker black and blue, making him bleed copiously till he passes out. With this he wins the whole tournament and virtually that is paid. However, Zoe has already foretold the end result and ready for it. He stops Boycott and divulges that he needs to fight one last man for his or her deal to be over. Boycott only has a few hours before his meeting in Budapest. That is extremely crucial for his career. However, he doesn't wish to depart while not saving Alma, therefore he asks the manager to attend till ensuing morning and gets able to fight the ultimate champion. The opponent is Kashmir. The Beast was fought and killed all of his opponents within the Russian prison. He's brought into the podium bound attributable to his violent nature. The fight starts, but Boyka is already. But his attacks appear to try to do Kashmir very little to no damage because of his physique. The Beast lands several punches on him before kicking him within the jaw. Boyka falls down attributable to the impact. Associate Degreed contains onerous time standing. Make a copy seconds before losing the fight. He gathers strength and stands up once more. However, he is again slammed to the ground once Kashmir is nearly positive that he has won. Boyka takes him without notice and pushes him back with a kick. When at the fight tilts to his aspect, he holds the Beast in an arm lock, breaking his right arm before kicking him out of the ring. With this, he finally wins the match, but Zwa remains not able to discarding of Alma. He makes his dependent attack Boyka once he tries to run away with the woman. Boyka is on the bottom at his lowest when he sees Alma being forced outside. With revived motivation and anger, he attacks the guards and kills all of them. Eventually he gets his hands on the rap and tackles him to the ground. Boyka is shot within the process, however his pain is. Eventually, Zoom is smothered to death. Alma tries to assist Boyka, but he stops her, asking her if he has her forgiveness. Some time later, the police arrive and arrest him before being forced away. He again unconditional inquires if she forgives him. However, Alma doesn't offer him a reply. Then Boyka is swapped into a Russian jail. A month later, Alma involves visit him and tells him that he has forgiven. Boyka is alleviated for the primary time in months. Although is arranged to become knowledgeable fighter unsuccessful within the last scene, we tend to see him fighting in the prison's arena. Continue to carry the title of the Undisputed. To visit for more videos like this, activate notifications and leave a wish to facilitate the channel out. Many thanks for watching.